Hi there, grab your coffee, grab a friend, and have your morning with Maddie again. I'm Maddie McGuckin, and today we are going to talk about reality TV. It's everywhere. Kardashians, the return of American Idol, and then you have all of the competition shows. And today we're going to talk about Survivor, one of the biggest shows to take over the world when it premiered in 2000. So today our guest is Safan, who's trying to get on the show. Tell me, why do you want to be on Survivor?
When I was 7 years old, I knew that every Thursday night my parents would stay up after we went to bed and watch a TV show, but I didn't know what it was, and I would always kind of peek out the corner and try to figure it out. And eventually I just ended up asking, I was like, what do you watch every Thursday night? And they were like, oh, it's Survivor. Do you want to watch it? And I was like, yeah, I want to see what it is. So I remember I started with season 15, Survivor China.
Okay.
And I watched every episode, and I just fell in love with the show, from the challenges to the social interaction to the backstabbing and all of that, and the voting each other out. I just loved it so much. And every year went on, I got older and I got more mature, and I really started to understand how the game worked. And I kind of started to treat certain aspects of life like a game of Survivor. Not every aspect, of course, but some just so I could kind of practice. And then I started kind of training myself and gearing up for the day that maybe one day I hopefully get a call from CBS and say, hey, we want you on the show,
That's so exciting, right? Yeah. That's the goal. You've made a tape before, correct? And you're in the middle of making another tape now.
Yeah, I'm making my second one right now.
Okay. What kind of strategy goes into making a Survivor submission tape? Because I know that I have no physical activity, so I couldn't show any skill. How much of it is showing skill and how much of it is showing personality?
It's a little bit of both. It's a lot of personality, though. They do want to see that you're able to tell a story and talk to a camera. They want you to be comfortable, because if you're uncomfortable in any way, they don't want you. They don't want you to, you're gonna be on an island with a bunch of strangers, and the last thing you're gonna want to do is talk to a camera.
Oh, 100%.
But if you can't do it, then they don't want you at all. You got to be able to sit down and just talk for 20 minutes or however long. So I kind of do a mixture of just sitting and talking for a little bit, and then I take my phone or my camera outside with me, and I'm like, hey, look, I'm on a mountain, or I'm rock climbing right now, or I'm swimming, whatever, and just kind of mix that up together, and that makes it a little bit more interesting.
That's really cool. Have you heard anything back from the show on your first tape? What motivated you to make a second tape?
Well, I got called in January last year, or actually January 2017. And I had submitted in November 2016, my very first tape. And I remember, even watching it now, I hate watching it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I think it's so stupid. I'm like, this is terrible.
Seeing yourself again,
yeah,
not a
exactly.
Good time.
I think it's horrible. I'm so goofy in that. And they called me and they said, hey, we liked your video. And I was like, okay. And then they said, but you're not what we're looking for right now, which was pretty understandable on my part. I mean, I was young. I was only 18.
Yeah.
And it was goofy. It wasn't really taken seriously. But they liked my energy, is what they said. So they said if I applied again soon, that they would totally consider me again.
That is so cool. I'm just curious, what do you hope to gain from being on the show? Because some people, they get on there and their life is completely different. They're so recognizable. And then there's people like Chase Rice, who's a country star now, but he started on the show. He was second runner-up. So what are your goals for being on Survivor?
It's a really good question, because I've never actually considered it, because I haven't gotten on there yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the first thing I would want to do is win. I mean, that's what everybody wants when they get on a show, oh, I'm going to win. But I know that I have the capabilities to win. I just can't mess those up. And, I think once I've gotten on the show and I've made the moves that I want to make, and I've, backstabbed the people I want to backstab and vote people out and win specific challenges, I think after I win, I don't even know. I mean, I would have to consider where I'd put the $1 million, what I'd invested in, maybe give some to charity, give some to my family and help them out, it's a very broad question, because there's so much to consider as far as the game goes and then after the game.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have a great plan for the future ahead. I know I'm rooting for you and really hoping that you do get on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tomorrow, we are going to learn how to bake a quiche. So excited. I will see you then. Thanks for joining us this morning.